Hi, I'm Iyare. Welcome to Fantastic Realm. This week, Spider-Man gets back on track. Final Crisis remains as confusing as ever, and the Dark Reign kicks into top gear. After last week's slightly disappointing but highly sought after Spider-Man, we find the title back on track this week with issue 584. This is the beginning of the new story arc, Character Assassination, and what we see here is loads of action, loads of intrigue, and loads of those story threads that have been left hanging for a few months starting to get tied up. Add to that the kind of return of John Romita Jr. to the title, and we get a Spider-Man issue which is just about as good as they get at the moment. So if you haven't been following Spider-Man, this is a great time to jump on Spider-Man 584 on your shelves this week. Also new on your shelves this week is this, Ruins. Now basically this collects two comic books that were published in the early 90s, written by Warren Ellis and starring the character Philip Sheldon of Marvel's fame. And essentially what you get in Ruins is a kind of apocalyptic vision of the Marvel universe. What if all of those things that we take for granted as good things in the Marvel universe were actually bad things? That's what writer Warren Ellis imagines in this book. You could describe it as grisly, gruesome, grotesque, especially in the way the art looks, but also utterly compelling and beautiful in a strange way too. If you've not read this yet, it was originally came out in somewhere around the early 90s. I don't know exactly, but if you haven't read it yet, it's definitely worth checking out in this collected edition. It's brand new, it's one shot, and it's on your shelves this week. Ruins #1. Dark Reign is the new crossover at Marvel Comics, and what we see here is basically the whole of the Marvel universe flipped on its head. The bad guys are now pretty much the government endorsed good guys, and the good guys are kind of the underground freedom fighters trying to kind of fight against all of that. And it is a really good premise, and it's set up a really nice kind of crossover so far, but we haven't seen that much of the actual crossover books. We saw some Punisher earlier this month, and we've also seen the Dark Reign main title itself. But this week we see 5 titles all branded with Dark Reign hit the shelves this week. We've got Dark Avengers, the Thunderbolts, War Machine, Uncanny X-Men, and the Mighty Avengers. Now all of this stuff looks really, really good, and what we'll do is that at some point in the future we'll have a real Dark Reign special where we get into the meat and potatoes of what's actually going on. But this week, know that if you want to keep up, there's a hell of a lot of books for you to follow. As always, these crossovers are going to leave you penniless, but you're not going to want to miss out on any of these books this week. So if you want to get involved, Dark Reign, all of these 5 books are out this week and are definitely worthy of your attention. So from a company that seemed to really understand how to do a crossover event that sucks you in, to a company that sometimes just doesn't seem to get it, this is DC's Beyond Superman 3D. It's part of Final Crisis, and this is the second issue of a 2-parter. Again, I'm confused. I don't fully understand what's happening with Final Crisis. I don't fully understand what's happening with DC in general. There's loads of characters that with references that I always kind of seem to miss. I love the way the books look. I love some elements of the stories, the bits that I get, but I feel that there's lots more to these stories that I don't get. Maybe I'm just not clever enough to follow what Grant Morrison is doing as a writer. Maybe I just don't have the ability to depth of knowledge about the DC universe in order to follow these books, but I always seem to put down a Final Crisis book feeling a little bit confused, and this is no different. That said, it's gorgeous to look at, and the 3D effect is very, very cool and worth experiencing if you haven't done it. I just hope you're getting more out of this and understanding these better than I am. This is Final Crisis. It's on your shelves this week. There are a few other comic books that are out this week that we haven't covered, including these. If you fancy a lighter take on the Marvel Universe villains, then check this out, Doctor Doom and the Masters of Evil. That hits your shelves this week.
I released my own comic book with my name on the cover, and what, this is all the love I can get from you lot. You know what? Allow Fantastic Realm, I'll crush you beneath my Latvarian boot. So says Doom!
If you fancy some DC that's a little bit more accessible, Black Lightning hits issue #2 this week, and this is quite a good read. And then for something a little bit different than your mainstream superhero stuff, this is issue #6 of Gail Simone's Air. I'm really enjoying this book at the moment, from the art to the really quirky story. This is quality all the way through. So that's pretty much all we've got time for this week on Fantastic Realm. Keep your comments and your emails coming in, and we'll catch you next week. You can buy any of the books we reviewed at fantasticrealm.co.uk, and don't forget to quote the code FAN1 to get yourself a 10% discount. You can also check out our eBay store. To see more videos and join our online communities, go to Facebook, MySpace or YouTube, and we've now launched the Fantastic Realm video podcast on iTunes. Feel free to add a comment about this video below, and don't forget you can drop by the store to check out what we have in stock. And most importantly, remember, if you're feeling the show, let somebody know.